Hi, my name is Liz Holtz, and I'll be your host tonight for In Our Community. And I'm pleased to introduce two of our guests tonight, Jim Gardner, who is the founder and CEO of Good Karma Bikes, and Cindy Ahola, who is the Vice President of Operations for Good Karma Bikes. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz.
So I'm really excited to have you guys here tonight. I think Good Karma is an amazing program that you have going. And I wanted to ask, Jim, how did Good Karma get started?
Well, it got started because I made the mistake of turning 40. I was going 0 for 4 in startups, turning 40, and doing a lot of self-reflection. Coincidentally, if you believe in that, I was at a homeless shelter donating some clothes, and I saw a man on a rickety bike. And I could see he was a danger to himself and to others. So I went down to St. James Park in downtown San Jose, and I just started fixing bikes for people. And what I saw in about a couple weeks was that it was not about bikes, it was about self-esteem.
And helping others. And so why the name Good Karma?
So Good Karma actually, you know, a lot of people think karma is about actions and effects, and it certainly is, that's what it means. But what I think is our secret sauce is that we have no expectation of repayment or any kind of benefit from what we do.
Which is a true karmatic way.
True karmatic way.
Release it into the universe and see what happens.
That's right.
So, since your beginnings, how has Good Karma evolved over the last few years?
Good Karma Bikes started by packing all of the tools and parts into my Camry, going to the park. Then we moved to that very same homeless shelter in downtown San Jose. It was a big milestone when we didn't have to use my Camry. We had a full-size van. Then we were truly mobile. We went to community centers, churches, schools. We partnered with other organizations, and this was only a year later. Mm-hmm. The next thing that happened to us is in 2013 we started a social enterprise, a full-service second-hand bike shop where we could employ people in recovery. Now we're moved to our second location in North Willow Glen. Wow.
So, Cindy, you know, one of the things we were talking about is the accomplishments you guys have done over such a short period of time. Can you tell us some of those?
Absolutely. Since our beginning in 2009, we have served over 16,000 clients. And that's been in the form of more than 500 free bike repair clinics. Mm-hmm. And that is repairing over 100,000 bicycles.
It's a lot of bicycles.
Absolutely. And one of the other things that you're going to learn about is a program where we grant bikes. And we've given more than 1,500 bikes to low-income families and individuals through these programs.
And during the holidays, you also partner with, I believe, Sacred Heart to help give away...
Sacred Heart, community services, community centers, and other churches. For example, last year there was a church who wanted to give their entire congregation bikes because they were promoting good health, and we were able to partner with them and provide every single person in their church a bicycle. All the families.
That is cool. That is
There was another
an incredible
church
thing.
in Salinas where it was Spanish-speaking only. Mm-hmm. Farm workers' children all got bicycles one year.
That's wonderful, especially in a rural area like Salinas, because it's difficult to get around on public transportation in those rural areas.
Right.
And a bicycle, especially for a small child, becomes amazingly beneficial. I know when I was a kid, I went everywhere on my bike.
Absolutely.
So, Jim, can you tell us about some of the various programs that Good Karma Bikes runs?
So our main program is that we are working with emancipated foster youth. What that means is these are young people who have been in the foster care system. Most of our youth have had 6 to 10 home placements, 6 to 10 school placements. They've managed to get a GED or high school diploma. These are the people most at risk, most likely to become homeless, incarcerated, addicted, gang affiliated. So our program intercepts these young people, and they get work experience running our full-service secondhand bike shop. But what's more important is every one of our program youth attends college, and they participate in our nonprofit community service fixing bicycles for people.
That's fabulous. And by emancipated youth, you mean children that have aged out of the system?
That's correct. They've turned 18, and some of them they're left on their own to fend for themselves, having been ill-prepared for adulthood.
So that's a fabulous thing that you do. So why the former foster and disadvantaged youth? What drew you to that particular group segment of people?
So, from my own experience, my cousin was a foster mother, and she had a young man who had had many placements when he came to her very late, close to 18 years old. The tragedy of the story is that there was a teen pregnancy. He actually committed a murder in my cousin's home, and I could not shake the feeling of what human waste and tragedy had happened. I started to read about the statistics on foster children. 80% of death row inmates were in foster care. So I like to say Good Karma Bikes is not about bikes. We're actually preventing many antisocial processes by working with the inflow of humans to these processes.
Yeah, now I was looking at some of the statistics that you had, and they were shocking to see that 70% of people incarcerated in California
Correct.
were former foster children. As you said, 80% on death row were former foster children. And I believe there was another statistic that was something over 3,000 former foster children are released onto their own every year just in California.
Yes.
Correct.
With no help, it's not like they get a stipend from Social Security or
Correct.
anything. They're just kind of like, okay, there you go.
So they're on wait lists for housing, or their other option is to go back to the people who got them in this mess in the first place.
Which would be the parents
Or
that they were taken
homelessness.
away from.
Correct. Yes.
So, I mean, that's, to me, that was just amazing statistics. And you know, as you said, you know, they've been bounced around as many as 10 different homes
Or more.
or schools and over a period of time. And I would assume, you know, children that, you know, especially come into the system later are bounced around a little more. Children that come in at an earlier age might actually find you know, permanent housing at some point, or maybe not. So that's just incredible. So, Cindy, can you tell us an example about one of your youth that have gone through your program?
We could actually talk about several of them, but we would be here all night. So I will share a story of one young man. He is actually an original participant in the program and has been helping to pilot the program from day one. And in his own words, he describes the difference about who he was as a young man before the Good Karma Bikes program and who he is today as night and day. He came into the program not dissimilar from some of the other youth and the statistics that we just talked about. He lacked confidence. He was plagued by anxiety and didn't have coping mechanisms to help him deal with the issues that he was experiencing. And through the 2 years that he's been, less than 2 years, a year and a half in the program with us, he has gained the confidence that he didn't realize that he could have. And he is, although what he says is, although I still feel anxious and I can still feel intimidated, I now have the coping mechanisms and the skills to be able to deal with what life is presenting. And he is one of our mentor youth and leading some of the new youth coming into the program. So, can you just tell us a little more about, so how does your program work with the youth?
where they come to you for assistance and then they work for you in the shop? How does that work?
So there's a screening process.
Okay.
It's competitive to get into our program. There's a wait list, and so we interview young people. When they come to us, we train them in bike mechanics or digital marketing or a host of different things, online certificates for them. In the first 6 months, the first 180 days, we are trying to make sense of the train wreck of their transcripts and getting them financial aid and everything they need to start college in the second 6 months. So once they're in college, they work part-time for us. Second year of our 2-year program, they're peer-to-peer mentors, as Cindy had just described.
That's wonderful. So you take them in, you help them to get assistance from other organizations to get into a secure position, and then get into college and move forward with their lives. And that's a fabulous thing to do.
One of the main things we always have to do with all of our young people is get them housing.
Yes.
Housing, they come to us housing hanging by a thread or no housing.
Yeah, and in the Valley, that is a difficult situation for many people.
Yes.
We see a lot of especially low-income families where there's 2 or 3 families sharing what would normally be a single-family home or even an apartment.
Even an apartment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People divvying it up. I even saw once up in San Francisco, somebody was renting out their closet for housing. So I know that you work with other, organizations that serve low-income people, the homeless in the community. Cindy, can you tell us a little bit about those programs and how this has grown over time?
Absolutely. Since our founding in 2009, our flagship really has been the mobile repair clinic and the van that Jim had mentioned we were so proud to acquire. We've continued that. Even in our current location, with our physical space, we continue to have our free repair clinic. So every single Saturday, no questions asked, rain or shine, we will fix a bike for free. And we partner with Sacred Heart Community Services and do that at their location.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Oh, and then you also have like a bike for work?
We do. So it's great to fix the bikes that people have, but what about those who don't have a bike and need that safe, reliable transportation? So we have a program where we can provide low-cost or no-cost bikes to agencies who have clients. But if you're an individual and you aren't affiliated with an agency or you can't afford a bicycle in our shop, you can actually volunteer and work to earn a bicycle.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
That is a fabulous opportunity because, yes, a lot of, especially homeless, that's one of the first keys for them to be able to get out, to be able to get services, to be able to look for a part-time job, get to that job in a reliable manner, and most, often, of course, getting around on a bicycle can be much more faster and efficient.
Yes.
Than
trying to get around on a bus.
It's also free and independent.
Yes, exactly.
There's no time schedule.
Yes, there's no schedules. You can go when you need to. And of course, it's healthy. It's a great form of exercise in addition to all that.
Absolutely.
All that.
Oh, and so that's fabulous. So, Jim, can you tell us, so who are some of the larger organizations that you partner with in the community?
So we work with Uplift Families, formerly EMQ. We work with Sacred Heart Community Service. They were our first partner. We supported their Job Link program, so when people landed their first job, we would supply them with bicycles so that they could get to work. We partner with over 29 different organizations here in the Valley.
And then you also partner with, I believe, the Bill Wilson Center?
That's where we source some of our youth. We recruit from them.
Okay. Yeah, because they, I believe they also do housing and things for former foster children, and they have a program for former foster children.
That's right.
Yeah, and stuff. So that's great. So, Cindy, one of the things we were talking about is you have a physical location.
Yes, we do. Yes. Well, in 2013, that's when we were able to open our first social enterprise in our physical location, and that was on Sunol. And recently, we moved to our current location, and that's at 460 Lincoln. I think Jim mentioned it earlier, just outside of Willow Glen. And we are excited and proud to be a participant in this collaborative enterprise that is a mix of nonprofit and for-profit businesses. So we're very excited.
Yeah, no, you just, I've been over to your new facility. It's a beautiful building.
Yes, it is.
And it's nicely located right in between the Midtown San Carlos area of San Jose and Willow Glen.
Yes.
Right there on Lincoln and at the corner of Azareas.
Yes.
And beautiful building as well. It's a newer project that's been remodeled.
Yes.
And you're one of their very first anchor tenants.
We were there. We were
fabulous.
their very first tenant. Yes, and we're thrilled to have been part of it. Yes.
That's great. So now, Jim, we've talked about the fact you have a bike shop and you give away bikes and you help people work for bikes. Is this also open to the public?
Yes, we're a full-service second-hand bike shop. Our bicycles, most of them were destined for landfill, so they come from donation and impound. We fully rehabilitate these bicycles and we sell them. We set our prices straight up off of eBay, and the revenue we generate is used to support portions of our programs, like the free Saturday repair clinic that's fully self-funded, and our Emancipated Youth program.
Yeah, I believe I saw something in your shop the other day, little sign that said, you know, for every $250 you spend in the store, that helps you work with 2 people, or?
We give away a bicycle. For every bicycle we sell, that's $200, we give a bicycle to a foster kid. But for every bicycle that we collect money on, sales or service, there are 2 bicycles that we do not collect money on.
Yeah, yes, I think the service that you're doing is incredible. Cindy, one of the big questions that comes to my mind is, you know, you have a very small staff.
Yes, we do.
And, you know, you work with, you know, you have volunteers and you have kids that are in your programs and stuff that actually come in and work. But you operate both a bicycle shop as well as all these different programs.
Yes, we do.
So how do you do all that?
We work really hard, and it's definitely team effort. So to have a very small staff, to be staffed with TAY youth, transitional age youth, and to staff with volunteers, it's a lot to juggle. And we actually really rely heavily on our volunteers to have the success that we do. Our volunteers, we rely on them to do everything from behind the scenes to front of the house. So everything from admin work to tech support to media support, and then of course the bike mechanics. That's the question everybody asks about.
Yeah, so you do have numerous tasks, so it's not just fixing bikes.
No, absolutely not.
I would assume, you know, social media, web design, as well as bookkeeping and maybe other functions.
Yes, and yes.
Marketing, assistance at events is probably very important for you. And what about, other than, you know, these different types of volunteer tasks, are there things like, you mentioned volunteers that help with the bicycles and stuff. Do you offer some sort of training for your volunteers?
We do. It's a question that we get asked a lot. I really like what you do, but I don't know how to work on bikes, so I don't think I can volunteer. Well, we actually have excellent training. If you're interested in learning how to work on bikes, we have a training program that will help you get there. And one of the first things that you're going to get to do, Jim had mentioned that our bikes can come from, we get them before they go into the landfill. And not all of those bikes can be safely refurbished. And so we lovingly refer to them as organ donors because one of the fun ways to learn about a bike is to be able to strip it for all of its parts. And so we'll strip it and collect those parts to use on other bikes. And so that's a fun way to learn how to begin working on bikes. And that's just the very beginning piece of it. So we do provide training. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And for all of us who love to, you know, like take apart things and figure out how they work, that's a great way to come down, learn and volunteer, and then take that skill and be able to give back to the community. Jim, what are some things, that you would like to have our audience know about Good Karma Bikes and your mission?
So, as Cindy was alluding to, we have an equation. Empowerment is authority plus accountability. So we give our volunteers a great deal of authority. We're always looking for mentors for our young people. I would like people to know that Good Karma Bikes is not about bikes. It's about prevention. We're starting a movement of prevention. And also that, our goal is to scale this program up from where we're at right now at 12 youth, going to 16 in October, to 100 by 2020. So in order to do that, we need community support. 40% of our shop revenue goes to fund our programs. So our revenue is 40% from the shop, 60% comes from the community and from grants. So in order to scale this program, we need support from the community.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we all know, grant writing is very time-consuming, as well as very competitive market.
Yes. Indeed, it is.
And of course, the more the community is involved, the more the word of mouth gets spread. Also, wanted to find out if people are wanting to learn more about Good Karma Bikes and about, volunteering or wanting to donate a bike, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you, find you?
goodkarmabikes.org.
Okay.
You can learn a lot about us on our website. You can send an email to volunteer@goodkarmabikes.org. You can text to give. Good Karma, one word, at 50155. You can also click in through our website.
That's
Call
wonderful.
us up as well.
Oh, yeah, Steph. And what would you say your number one need for this current year would be? We're going into the Christmas season. Are you looking for donations of bikes for children that you can refurbish?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that we all... Go ahead.
I was going to say, we are always accepting bicycle donations. That is our source of inventory.
And sometimes there's corporate team building events where they want to work with new bicycles. We don't directly, intentionally source new bicycles, but there are sometimes a good deal of new bicycles in our shop.
Well, that's nice. That's nice. And you mentioned corporate events. So if a corporation wanted to have some sort of team building exercise,
right,
they could contact you and schedule a day to come in and help build bikes.
Yes, they can.
Or clean the shop, or
it's
do
very
different things
popular
like that.
with our volunteers as well. It's a lot of fun. Again, we're mobile. We can go on site as well.
Yes.
We do scavenger hunts with bike parts, and pretty soon we'll be able to hide some of the parts in the local brewery.
Yes, yes. And I will say it's also a wonderful opportunity to work directly with the youth who are in the program.
Indeed.
Because they lead the corporate teams through their bike building day. So.
You were telling me a little bit about that earlier, that, when the kids get involved, they're sometimes a little shy at first.
Oh, absolutely. They've not been put in positions of leadership, and that's something that they learn going through this program. And watching their level of confidence increase is it's pretty astounding. They are hesitant, to put it nicely, to lead these activities. But once they're doing it, they realize that they have information that they get to share. They get to be the teacher and pass along knowledge. And they're doing it with people who are older and more professional, and they're really gaining confidence. And so having these corporate team building events is a wonderful opportunity for both parties.
That's great.
That self-esteem and confidence translates into their college career as well.
Absolutely.
Well, certainly.
It's all working together, and it has nothing to do with bikes.
Well, and it also, I'm sure, is reflected, when they go to look for a job after they leave Good Karma, or when they go to interview.
Absolutely.
Or, find their first apartment, all those little firsts
Yes.
start them on the pathway, into the greater community.
Absolutely.
So, just once more, I just want to go over your new location is at 460 Lincoln Avenue
Yes.
in San Jose at the corner of Ozarez.
Ozarez and Lincoln, yep.
And also on your website, you have information both about your programs,
Absolutely, yes.
as well as ways that they can donate or volunteer, and also other information about activities and events that you guys are having
That's
going
correct.
on.
Yes.
So you can find us on all the usual social media channels
Okay,
with
so you're
updates.
on Facebook and Twitter and
Instagram, all of it.
Instagram.
Yes.
You guys show off your new bike builds.
We do. Yes, yes.
Very fun. And then, of course, if our viewers would like to donate, of course, they can contact you via the website to get information about that. You also have a link on your website for financial donations,
We do.
as well as a way that they can text to donate. And what is that
And
number?
bicycle donations as well. Lovingly used bicycles
Yes.
will be redeployed in the community.
Yeah, and I'm sure, this is a great example would be, as children outgrow their bicycles and stuff, and it's time for them to get a new, larger bicycle, then that used bike can be donated and go on to another child.
We have families who come in every couple of years to donate the bike that they had purchased 2 years previously to get a bigger bike for their child. So definitely it happens.
And one of the things that I hear parents tell me is that they're teaching their children that you don't have to have something new all the time. It's good to reuse and repurpose.
And recycle.
And
Put it back out
recycle.
in the community.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
So, thank you very much. This has been
Thank
a
you, Liz.
wonderful
Thank you, Liz.
evening. It's been great talking to you, and I hope that our viewers will certainly go and take a look at Good Karma bikes and put some good karma of their own out into the universe.
Wonderful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.